Welcome to War Games, hosted by the sales genius Joe Ingram. If you're looking to win the sales battle, then you have joined the right team. In the War Games group, we devise strategies for sales, marketing, branding, mindset, and attitude. We enlist the assistance from the most successful producers across all industries. We then share their knowledge and techniques with you. Our single goal is to get you ready for your next sales opportunity. When it comes to crossing the minefield of sales, step in the footprints of those that have crossed before you. Now, prepare yourself for boot camp and beyond. It's time for the War Games to begin.
Are we playing games?
Hello, War Gamers, and those of you listening to us on the Sales Genius podcast. I am excited today. I've got Dave Elsner here with us today. And you say, Joe, who's Dave Elsner? Or most of you are probably out on LinkedIn saying, we already know who Dave is, right? He's the guy that we all learned from. So an impressive 35-year journey in technical sales. No one touches this guy when it comes to experience and accomplishments. Okay, he's done direct sales. He's been a sales VP at very esteemed companies, those little ones like AT&T, right, or Dimension Data. Okay, but his passion led him to do what? To create the tech sales coach, right? Actual podcast show and his company, right? That's going to be impacting over 50 companies and thousands of sales professionals through social selling and sales methodologies. One of our key things that we're going to lean on Dave today to share with us is modern prospecting. Okay, so how do you do it nowadays? What are the strategies and techniques that'll propel you to new heights that he knows that he's kind enough to come onto the show and share with us today? So we don't want him to spill everything because you still need to reach out, listen to him, follow him, and engage with him. But Dave Elsner, welcome.
Thank you. It's quite an introduction. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm going to go put this the techsalescoach.com and have that scroll across the bottom. Best place for everybody to reach you.
Awesome. Yeah, it absolutely is. And same name on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and that's the webpage. So thanks for that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so everybody's out there watching from all over. We're going to get a lot of secondary views or the rewatches only because of the time frame of the show. For me, the time frame was good to say somebody who's at work, who their company won't invest in training, this would give them the chance to step away for lunch and actually go, let me go watch something and learn on my own. But companies themselves now have us up on the big screen in their training rooms. So I just want to say, let's jump in here and talk to us about what we do wrong, what we do right, what Dave Elsner's experience has led him to believe, and your incredible success comes from. And then let's see where we can go with that one. I'll try to be quiet, but everybody here knows it's not going to happen when it comes to me. But thank you, Dave. Welcome.
Awesome. So I'm going to give everybody a preview of a virtual sales training workshop that I do about how to approach the modern buyer, because things have changed quite a bit in the last 10 years. And we all know that the hit rates on cold calling and cold email are very low now. And so there's a new way to go about it, a more personalized way that's going to help you get more conversations and probably create more inbound. And so let me just share my screen, pull up some slides here. Actually, that did not work. Let's try this again. Share screen. Yeah. All right. We're going to try the PowerPoint way then.
We're just trying to make it difficult for you.
Yeah.
Normally it'll pop up in the bottom as a third entity down below. So when it comes up, I'll see it. We will switch you and I, though, because you're going to be over on the left side.
All right. So I can't see the slides. Can you?
No.
Oh, it is uploading currently.
Okay. Yeah.
So, hey, I can dive in a little bit while we do this. You know, I mentioned that that cold calling, you know, and email hit rates are very low because things have changed. And they've primarily changed in two ways. Our buyers have access to more information than ever before, you know, i.e. the internet and everything else that's out there. And then about 5-6 years ago, automation came along to start creating cadences for salespeople. And, you know, whereas a salesperson could make 100 cold calls a day before, now they can make thousands and they can send thousands of emails. And so we're all getting barraged on a constant basis by all of these sales organizations to try and buy something. Geez, they've even branched out into text lately, which absolutely drives me crazy. And so there's the slides.
Look at that. Let's go back over this way. Now I'm going to make this big. Here we go.
Yep, that sounds good. So the class I teach is called Social Selling Done Right. And really, it's a new approach to the modern buyer. You know, we talk about the mindset of the modern buyer and how they like to be approached. We help you develop your brand, whether it's on LinkedIn, Instagram, or any other social platform, because what we're going to do is we're going to engage with our prospective buyers and get them to come and look at that brand so that they see the value in our business. And so we also teach how to find and engage your ideal prospects. Engagement creates curiosity. You know, if you follow somebody on Instagram or you follow somebody on LinkedIn, they get a notification. And then when you start engaging with their content, it creates some curiosity so that they're drawn to your brand and your platform. You know, then we're going to teach how to connect to start a conversation with that person, how to feed your network that shows you as a subject matter expert, and then what kind of cadence you should use on a daily, weekly basis. And so the modern buyer needs a modern seller. And one of the things that we've learned is that 74% of buyers purchase from the first person that adds value. And so they realize they have a problem. They go on this journey of starting to do research. That's when we want you to be found in the process. And so, you know, 69% of buyers are going to look at your profile or look you up on Google before they engage with you. And so it's important that, you know, you are there, you are found, and that you become part of that conversation. We also know that the modern buyer is digitally enabled. They're socially connected to many different platforms in many different ways, and they're mobile attached. And the beauty of LinkedIn and Instagram, for that matter, is that they get notifications, and we're all drawn to notifications. And so if I look at somebody's profile, if I engage with their content, you know, a little red bubble, maybe even a bell is going to pop up, which is going to draw them to that because they're always attached. And therefore, that's going to create that curiosity that we want. And so we talk about, you know, gosh, when I was an active salesperson, I used to help customers discover their problems and help them with their research. But that doesn't happen anymore. Usually they start engaging us when they start looking for their preferences. And so what we want to be is ahead of the game. So, hey, the two things that I know work nowadays is to get introduced, right, Joe? It's referral-based networking.
That never hurts.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you know what? When I started this business in 16, you know, my first full year were all people that I knew. Those were my first customers. And so from there, it went from people I knew to people they knew. And so you've got to leverage that referral-based networking, you know, and LinkedIn's a great place to do that because it tells you who your common connections are. And then the other way is inbound. You know, when they're doing their research, something catches their eye that you're in the moment having, or revealing something on LinkedIn, some kind of research or information, they see you as an expert. And as a result, they reach out to you, and it creates this inbound marketing image. So while I say LinkedIn, I think this does also apply to other social platforms, but I focus on LinkedIn because it's the largest business conversation in the world. And Bloomberg actually did an article today about how popular it's become as a networking tool, not a job searching tool. Lots of great conversations happening. So the one thing that we do know is that if you cold outreach or email outreach in any way, they're going to look you up before they engage with you. And if you go to Google and search Dave Elsner, I guarantee you the number one thing that's going to pop up on the top of Google is my LinkedIn profile. And then below that, you'll start seeing some of my business stuff. So know that they're going to look you up. They say 75% will look you up before they engage. And so what I ask you is, when somebody goes to your profile, what are they going to see? What does your digital brand say about you? That's really
such a great question. I mean,
yeah.
I'm glad you brought it up because, again, too many times we take the emotional side of things and we just keep posting stuff up there instead of stopping to say, what image am I representing by posting this stuff?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's kind of like your digital business card. It's like I said, it's how people find you on Google. It's a place for people to shop. And in LinkedIn's case, it's kind of like your personal website because it's got all of these great features that describe what you do, how you do it, and how you can help an individual, much like a website would. You can even put offers and services provided in there, links back to your website, links to schedule a meeting. And so think of it that way as, this is one way to create this digital image that makes you more searchable, but in the end, more findable. And so the first thing that you need to do is what we call a profile makeover. And these are my 14 suggested things that you change on your profile. First of all, you need a banner that shows your logo and your slogan. And that's because when the profile pops up, it's absolutely the first thing they're going to look at is that and your picture. And your picture, you're going to be judged. And so you want a professional business image, and you can actually do an optional video commercial in that picture bubble. You also want a headline that describes how you help people or how you solve business problems. If you say, I'm a salesperson, and the first thing they see is that you're going to try and sell them something, they'll probably stop looking at your profile. So what you want it to say is how I help people, or specifically what you can do to help them in their business. You want to update all your contact info. Most people have their personal email in the contact info. And really what you want is your business email, your business phone number, your website. You want to make it easy on them to find you. And then there's a couple features that you need to turn on. One is called creator mode. Creator mode associates hashtags with your profile. And so if somebody, in my case, I use the hashtag sales training. If somebody searches sales training, my profile will then be offered up as an option. So you want those hashtags to describe what you do so that, again, you're more findable. The second one that a lot of people don't turn on is called services provided. And so you turn on services provided, and it allows you to pick 9 different categories of things you can do to help people. And they can actually click on it and request your services. And so about once a week on LinkedIn, I get a request for a call just because I have that services provided turn on. Now, the summary section, a lot of people use the summary or the about section to write about themselves. I recommend you write about your business and what you can do to help people. And so I put all of my offers in my about section. It's the third most viewed thing on LinkedIn. And so when somebody comes to your page, they usually scroll down to read your about section. And they don't care if you're at 130% of quota and went to President's Club. What they care about is, what is this person about and how are they going to help me?
Right.
Yeah. So that's a real important one. And then just a couple others real quickly. Your experience section to describe the skills that you offer. You should enable a featured section that will highlight some of the key things that you're a thought leader in. You want to add all of your education, including your high school, and that's because alumni networking rules. If I reach out to somebody at the college that I went to, they almost always respond when I say, hey, I went to the same college, because people like to honor their alumni. And actually, that's one of the first searches I recommend you do to expand your network and expand your business, is search your alumni in LinkedIn and start engaging with those people. Then you can add skills, you can add accomplishments, you can add certifications, and you can ask for written recommendations as well. And so this is just a quick preview of it. I'm not going to go through all of these slides.
I'm going to move that to big screen so everybody can see just that. There we go.
Yeah. In essence, what you do to edit your profile is you go to this Me button, and then you start using the pencils as you go down the page to edit the various sections.
Right.
Now, if there's a section that I recommended you add and you don't see it on your page, then you need to click this Add Section button and find the appropriate one, add it to your page, and then take the appropriate action. Now, I've got this guide available to anybody for free. It's 14 pages long. It walks you through step by step. Reach out to me on LinkedIn. Shoot something in the chat with your email address, and I'd be glad to send it over to you. But it basically walks through here, how to edit your profile, how to edit your picture, how to put a banner up and what size it needs to be, how to edit your headline. And you say something like, I help companies deliver excellence. You describe how you can help here. How to edit your contact info, how to turn on creator mode with the hashtags, how to turn on services provided. And you see the ones that I was able to choose. And then they can actually request my services once they select that. How to write an about section, your experience section, featured section, and then the final 5 sections, which is education, skills, accomplishments, and certifications. And then lastly, try and get some recommendations, because somebody else, former customer, current customer, recommending you goes a long way towards your credibility. Now, once you get your profile up to date, it's time to start engaging with your ideal prospects. So I'm going to talk about how to search and find your ideal prospects, but this is what I recommend that you do.
Dave, can I throw out something real quick?
Yeah.
Not taken away from anything, but one of the things you said, it highlighted, because I get cold emails from people that represent companies, and I look at it, and I just started replying back with one little cutout that I made that just simply says, I don't entertain any offers coming from a non-company domain. So Gmail doesn't make me believe you're the person to help me with whatever you're trying to solve for me.
Awesome.
But if you're sending me just some random stuff at gmail.com and you're saying, do you need help with managing your LinkedIn? Do you need help with your social media? I'm like, that's not you. I get people going, do you want a list of all these people? I can get it for you. And I'm like, if you don't have an actual company domain that I can go look at the company, it's not going to.
Yeah, it's I actually entertained a outbound email company to see what it's all about, and by no means do I need additional leads. I get a ton of inbound as a result. But what they do is they set up like 10 or 15 different domains and use Gmail so that their score doesn't drop, so they don't get thrown into the spam and junk folders. And so the guy's like, yeah, we're going to set up 20 different domains under Gmail for you so that we can send multiple emails to multiple people all day long. So I love that you're doing that, Joe.
Yeah. Well, I can't stand that. I'm just like, you don't look like you represent a company. But
very good. So here's what I recommend, just to start out slow so you get a feel for the process, is search and find 20 people of interest that you want to do business with. And then what you do is, and by the way, I said former companies and alumni are probably your top prospects because you already have commonality, and commonality is huge in sales. You know that, Joe. It's, you've got to have some kind of networking relationship to get a response, unless your timing is really good. Right. So I start with a reasonably sized list of 100 targets, and then I pick the 20 most active or attractive, because I can't do more than 20 a day. And so what I do is I look at their profile and I find commonality. Did we go to the same school? Do we live in the same area? What do we enjoy the same sports teams or entertainment? And you can tell a lot from a person's profile. You could even join the same groups that they're a member of on LinkedIn so that you can say, hey, we're both a
commonality.
Yeah.
Manufactured commonality. I like it.
It works. So, and the beautiful thing about looking at somebody's profile is they get a notification that, hey, Dave Elsner just looked at your profile. And we all know that when somebody sees your name 5 to 7 times, you now have brand recognition and brand familiarity. And so that's what we want to do, is we want to be that person sitting there going, hey, I'm here. This is what I do. This is how I can help you. And eventually it's going to create the curiosity that they come and look at your profile. So what I do is I look at their profile and then I click their follow button, but I do not send a connection request. I haven't earned the right to be connected with this person because there's been no two-way engagement yet. Two-way engagement would be them looking at your profile, or when you comment on one of their posts, they like your comment or reply to your comment. That's when the door opens. That's when the conversation can start. And so I engage with them 5 to 9 times over 2 weeks. About 50% of them will look at my profile or engage back. And then the other 50%, I'll send a connection request because I know they've seen my name enough times. And by the way, when I send that, it'll say, Dave Elsner is following you and asking you to connect. And usually they go, oh, okay. So my connection rates are very high as a result of this. The average is 40%. I'm near 80%. Wow. You're then either going to find that commonality or, as I said earlier, create commonality. So the first step is do a search. You can search by, title. You can search by keyword. You can search by area. It's a very powerful search engine to narrow down your ideal buyer. And then you want to look for commonality, as I said, and we want to click this more button and follow them if this says connect. Some people it says follow. Some people it says connect. You don't want to connect yet. You want to follow.
Love it.
And so, yeah, you can search by title, company, location, keyword, school, former workplace, to get that target list down to something that's manageable for you, manageable enough to be personalized so that you can get to know that person. And so the commonality thing is huge. Always look for common connections. Joe, if I connect with you eventually, it's an easy way to start a conversation with somebody is by saying, hey, I see you're connected to Bob as well. How do you know Bob? Did you guys have work history together? And that breaks those barriers down of the buyer and makes them feel more comfortable to have a conversation with you. And so when it comes time to prospect and connect, you got to always send a custom message of thanks, either when they looked at your profile or they engage back with your content. Just make sure that you're not pitching, because there's a stigma going around called the connect and pitch or the pitch slap. And it's really about all of the salespeople out there sending a connection request immediately followed by a pitch. And so now is not the time to pitch them. Now is the time to get personal and say, I see we have people in common. I see we went to the same school. I see we live in the same area, because that tells them that you took the time to look at their profile. You talk about the value that you have to offer, and then you do a call to action. And usually that's let's connect and network together. So again, now's not the time to pitch, because the next phase of this is we're going to start posting on LinkedIn valuable content on a daily, weekly basis, so that when the time is right, they will reach out to you. You just want to look for those open door opportunities. So you want to know how powerful LinkedIn is. If you have 1,000 connections, you have 400,000 second degree and 1.6 million third degree. Now, I personally have 19,000, but I've posted things that have gotten close to 4 million views. And that's as a result of this spider web that happens. If a first degree comments or likes one of my posts, then all of their first degree, which is my second degree, then see that post. And then the same thing applies to third degree. If any of those second degree comment or like, then in fact, all of their first degree, which is my third degree, see it. So very, very powerful way to publish things. So I'm not going to talk about using mobile too much, but just know you want to personalize your invites. Don't just hit the connect button, hit the 3 dots and personalize it so that it isn't a canned thing. LinkedIn is always also a really, really great way to stay connected and stay top of mind with your buyers. You can wish them happy anniversary on their work anniversary. You can send them a note of congratulations when they get promoted. You can even get birthday notifications. And so once you're connected to somebody, it becomes a valuable way to start and keep conversations going, again, so that you're always top of mind. I get leads on a weekly basis from people that say, I saw a post of yours a year ago, or I see your content on LinkedIn and I really like it. And so the engagement part, if you are to make a comment on one of your prospects' posts, and they are to like it or they are to comment back, that's an open door to start a conversation. I simply send them a message that says, hey, thanks for liking my comment, or hey, thanks for liking my post. What did you like about it? And these are soft conversation starters. And because they're already familiar with your brand, they're already familiar with, what you have to offer, it becomes a much easier conversation for them. So these are the 4 things you can do. You can like something, you can share it, you can comment on something, and you can do what we call an @ mention. And so if I see a post that I think a different prospect will like, I'll often do @Joe, check out this. And what that does is it draws my other prospect to my current prospect. And now we become a part of a conversation where other people are included. Now, when you engage, you want to be seen as a subject matter expert. And so when you're posting content, you got to do like a Google or LinkedIn search to find things that demonstrate that you're a subject matter expert. My business is all about sales training. And so almost on the daily, I'm posting, tips and tricks to improve your sales game. You can filter in LinkedIn by content. Just make sure on both Google and LinkedIn, you read it for appropriateness. I know a lot of people are using ChatGPT AI right now to do creative stuff like this. Don't copy and paste that. Use it for idea generation, not to come up with content that you just simply copy and paste. And then make a comment, or share it to an individual and, get that conversation going. That's really what it's all about. Now, there is a way to tell what your social selling index is, and that's kind of like your score on LinkedIn. It's how good does your profile look? It's how well do you engage? Are you connected to the right people, which would be your prospects? Or are you just connected to a bunch of industry and friends? And are you actually building relationships? And so if you're going to go down this journey with me, what I recommend is look this up now. And I don't know, Joe, can you enter that into the chat maybe?
Already done.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And so check your score before you begin. Most people, if they're not active on LinkedIn, are below 40. By the time you get done with this, you'll be in the 70s or 80s. If
I'm
you're
at 66, top 2% industry SSI rank. I'm sure you know what that is. Yep. And then in my network, top 5% SSI rank.
That is really good. Really
good.
Yeah.
But now I'm jealous because I'm not even to 70 yet, though. So I have the fear of missing out.
You have very little work to do. I see your stuff on LinkedIn. I see your stuff on YouTube. And so you're doing a good job socially, if you ask me, all around.
Thank you.
Okay. So, hey, I'll wrap this up, by saying, first of all, let's get connected on LinkedIn. You can use that QR code that's on the screen right now, or you can just look up Dave Elsner or the Tech Sales Coach and you'll find me on LinkedIn, and then follow me so that you can see some of my content, on the daily, on the weekly. And then one last thing is you'll notice when you go to my page, I'm doing a social selling done right webinar. It's 45 minutes long with 2 other experts. Nice. We're doing it September 21st at 8:30. And really what we're doing is we're rolling out 3 different levels of service. So we're going to train on all of the things that I just talked about in a little more detail. But what we're rolling out is a monthly membership for $50 a month. You get 2 one-hour sessions where we take you through step-by-step over 12 months, everything you need to do to become a social selling expert. And then we're also, and that would be you do it yourself, but we teach you how to do it. The second level of service is what we call done with you. And in the done with you environment, we're actually going to go one-on-one with you and do everything with you on a weekly basis. And then the final one is what we call a done for you service. Hey, if you don't got the time to do all this social selling stuff, we'll absolutely do everything for you. And you can just sit back and take that inbound and engagement as it comes. So I encourage you, you come to that webinar. And with that, that's what I got, Joe.
This was absolutely phenomenal. I'm going to throw out a warning to everybody who's out there now on LinkedIn and YouTube and everything. The warning is going to be this. If you go to his page and send a connection request right away, he's going to say you didn't listen to anything I said during today's thing. So that's what I want you to understand is that you're going to go there. You're going to follow him. Okay. We're going to go out, look for people that are alumni and a previous company. So we have something in common with them. Grab your 100 ideal clients, look at their groups, join their groups if you need to, right? But follow first, wait for engagement. So go to Dave's, click on the follow button. He'll get a notification on it. If he checks out your page, you go, ooh, I got it. But don't jump too quick. Don't jump too quick, right? And so you're going to reach back out to him later. Go share something that's on his page on LinkedIn. Why? Because you know the information is great. Go share it. Okay. If you knew it, you would go on like, okay, so what I like to do, Dave, you tell me if I'm doing it right or wrong. Trust your expertise. So I will go in, look at something. I will then reshare it, right, with my 2 cents with it, right? Yep. If whatever they said was absolutely perfect, I will just reshare and repost it up on there and let it go and tag them. Yep. Right. When I reach out, I will put in and quote what they said or put out before that to prove I actually watched it and listened to it. Good so man. I would go, saw you on, the Sales Genius podcast. It was on LinkedIn. It was so great. When you said, find your 100 ideal clients by starting with these people. Wow. That totally changed my idea of how to prospect on LinkedIn. Now you sit back and go, wow, this person actually watched, learned, reached out, quoted me to me, which, hey, that means you're pretty smart if you're quoting me. But so when you look at it, that's what and then again, right there makes me want to connect with you. Awesome. And makes me go, that would be a good person to connect with because of that.
Yeah. What a testament. I'll tell you, this stuff absolutely works. I used to run a BDR team, or I had a BDR team under me, and we were lucky, and this was 6 years ago, we were lucky to get 1 appointment a day per BDR. Wow. And that's kind of dismal. It didn't even pay for itself. This kind of stuff where I'm doing 20 a day brings me in a minimum of 10 leads a week. And I'm just one guy. And so I'm at least doubling those BDR rates on a weekly basis. And I think it's with a lot less effort. I'm not spending 8 hours a day doing email, doing phone calls, running cadences. I'm spending about an hour a day on LinkedIn.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And again, because most people are going to think, what? This is going to be a full-time job for me. And you're like, I've got it in an hour. Come on, people. Yes.
I think the thing I struggle with the most with a lot of students is just consistency. They start posting and they don't get enough likes after a week. and so they bail. And it doesn't work like that. You've got to develop your brand and your image. You got to get people to like what you're saying, and it builds. When I started actively doing this in 2016, it took me 4 months to get my first inbound. So don't give up too soon. Like, be consistent with it, and they will come. If you build it, they will come.
Yes. So one of the things too, a buddy of mine who's very successful at marketing said, you don't have to be the best at sales if they're reaching out for you to buy. Right. So if they're reaching out to you going, hey, it'd be great. I want to know what programs you have. Do you have to be the most amazing salesperson?
No.
Right. You don't. They're already there. So then focus on getting yourself in front of those people so they can do it. Like I learned something today. I'm like, I have to go through and find out what the specialties were versus what is that thing? Because I went on LinkedIn because I was like, okay, I'm going to check while it's up on the screen. And I was like, okay, I got that. And then I was like, oh, yeah, services provided. I got to do that. So I immediately messaged you and said, here's my email address. Would love to have the guide. Right. And I encourage everybody, go on there, get that. He said, reach out on LinkedIn and ask for the guide. It's not a bad thing. But
by the way, I love some of the comments in there. Good stuff. I didn't see any questions, so that's good. I guess I should probably post the link to the webinar that's coming up.
That would be ideal. If you put it over in the comments section, it'll go, and then I can drag it where it needs to go and put it on the screen for those watching on Spotify later.
You know what? It doesn't let me comment.
No?
No.
Okay. So do you see on the right side says private chat?
Yes.
Put it there, and then only Bob and I will see it. There it is.
Yeah, so that's the link to the webinar.
Okay, so they just went out on the YouTube channel.
Awesome.
I will make sure it is over here on the LinkedIn channel. When I'm over there checking my own site, I can see there's a live video playing, so it's easier to go post that. So, yes, for everybody there, that's what you have. There's his social selling done right. You know, the easiest thing to do is just go type in Dave Elsner in Google, right? Well, I did it while he was saying it, and his LinkedIn profile is right up on top. And then what comes next is videos, right?
And if you have a profile, that's true for everybody. First thing that comes up is LinkedIn.
Yeah, they do a great job of SEO.
Awesome.
So, yeah, unfortunately, I share a name with some guy who plays poker with the same name. So, but my LinkedIn is in the top 5 things on his page when it comes up. I tell everybody, go look on me for Google at Joe Ingram Sales, right? If you do that, I own the whole page. So, yeah.
And then be consistent with your branding.
Yes. Yeah. Same username out on TikTok, on Instagram, and all the way around.
Yeah.
And yes, Mo, I'm not that Joe Ingram professional poker player. He's Joe Ingram. Yes, but so right. That'll be my next realm. I'm gonna be the poker genius. Yes.
Love it.
But Dave, fantastic. Bob, any questions for you? Bob's the master of connecting with people. He has a class called Connectology, which I took too many times because I was so slow, but it was definitely a good thing.
No, great presentation, Dave. I appreciate the information.
Yeah.
You know, you look at LinkedIn, it can just be overwhelming, even though you've got a profile, you've got everything. It just, you get lost in it and then you forget about it and then you move on to the next thing. So appreciate all the information you shared today.
Yeah, it's a very valuable tool. I love the Bloomberg article that came out today.
Yeah, I'm going to look into that.
Yeah, it's called LinkedIn has become cool, is what it's called.
Yes. Well, especially if you're in business, because the other people there typically have a job and money for beginners, right? JR, congratulations. JR said his SSI is 98.
Oh my God, I've never seen any, but maybe one person in the 90s.
Yes, but JR is also dyslexic, so let's just take that as 89. Yeah, no, he's not. He's not.
Yeah, I couldn't find my number on what you were sharing there. So where would I find that?
So the link is in the chat. So you have to actually put the URL in.
Okay, because I'm in my profile right now, but I couldn't find that.
You go up to the top, so you have to actually go like it's an own URL. So you're going to go to www.linkedin.com /sales SALES /SSI.
And SSI stands for Social Selling Index.
Okay, gotcha. Good deal. I will look into that. Thank you.
But that was phenomenal. That is such a great thing. Sorry, there it is for those that were looking at it. But that's what you would want to type in up at the top. And because you're already logged into LinkedIn most of the time, it's going to pull up your score right from there.
That's right.
So everyone, venture over to LinkedIn because people there have money. And the best part about LinkedIn, Dave Elsner's over there. He's only there for an hour a day, so you got to do something to get his attention. Okay.
Yeah, I check morning and evening, and your comment about that's where the money is huge. They say 40% of the people on LinkedIn are decision makers.
Yes,
would be another one. And so it's, I think, easier access to decision makers.
It is true. It is true. I love it. JR did put up there. Thanks for all the great updates. So yeah, I'm gonna go in and tweak it when I'm done here. I'm not even gonna go sit with my client. I'm like, no, I'm sorry. I'm at too low of a score per Dave. I got to get my LinkedIn back up.
Get on a call with me for 30 minutes and we'll get it all done.
Fantastic.
You got my calendar link.
Yes. Thank you, Dave. Amazing. Completely appreciative. And everybody else needs to understand the guy dropped money here today. And so it's a good thing it was on LinkedIn because that just proved there was money. But all those on YouTube and what have you that go, I don't know if I need a LinkedIn. I'm going to tell you right now, you do.
Yeah.
Right? You will need it.
Yeah.
Ernest, you're going to have to watch this replay because Dave made a difference in our world today. So, but Dave, thank you so much. Bob, thanks for jumping up on here with us today.
Thanks for providing such great value.
Yeah, I always appreciate you. So,
Likewise.
Everybody else, remember, reach out to Dave on LinkedIn, send him your email address. He'll send you his 14-page guide on what to do on LinkedIn. And he's got pictures for those of us that need that. So we can print it and hold it up next to our screen as we go through and do those things. But so appreciate everybody. Bob is a legend, as commented here. So thank you again, everybody. Go out and sell something. Absolutely. Thanks, everyone.